Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Galaxy's Edge. This is a video that I wanted to make since I left the park 18 days ago. And I got home and the next morning I was set up all this crap like I was going to make this video. And I thought about it, I was like, you know what, I'm going to wait and see how I feel in a week so I can sink in a little bit more, because I feel like my opinions will be a little more honest. I can pinpoint the things that stuck with me more than just all the stuff that was going on, because it's pretty overwhelming to be there. And we were there with the reservation groups, which they give you these 4-hour blocks to go visit the park, and then they shuffle everybody out from the previous block, and then you get to go in with your group and see everything. And I think they're ending that really soon, so by the time you see this, that may already be over. We were pretty lucky. We got to go in one of the late blocks from 8 to midnight. So with the other blocks, there were overlaps. So the people that were in the group before us, they were supposed to leave by 8, but they kind of had like an hour of overlap in case they were on a ride or waiting for something. So we saw some of those people when we came in, and when it was our turn to leave, there was hardly anybody in the park. So we got to walk around and look at stuff without a big crowd, which I think is going to be a rarity at this area of the park. Now, overall, just to get out there, I loved Galaxy's Edge. I thought that was awesome. But there are some things that a little I have like negative thoughts about. So I'm going to get into those first, and then I'm going to go into the stuff that I like, and then a couple gripes I've seen with opinions that people have about this place on the internet that are ridiculous, but I'll get into that in a minute. So first of all, my first real big gripe was the prices there. They are insane for some of the stuff. There's for example, like I got one of the little Coke bottles, which are Galaxy's Edge exclusive, because I just had to have this stupid bottle. I got this, and like a little bag of popcorn that I swear was about this big. $12. $12. I mean, movie theaters are really expensive, and I expect a theme park to be expensive. Disney's always expensive, but that's too much. I think if it was like $8 for that much stuff, it would probably still be too much. But it's Disney, so that's same feeling with the blue milk. You got the little thing of the blue milk because you got to try it. The cup was about this big. It was really small, not even a size of a medium cup at most places. It was $8, $8, and it was good. It was tasty, but not $8 tasty. So those prices were kind of crazy. And I'm sure the shopping areas, I didn't look to buy anything, so I didn't look around too much. The only other thing that we purchased there was a meal at the Docking Bay 7, I believe it's what it's called. And that was kind of like a regular Disney meal. It was overpriced, but it wasn't insane. It was, probably like $3 more than I would have paid at another restaurant in town for similar food. So not horrible, but that was like an expected Disney price. So not bad. But there was like little things like the blue milk. If it was $6, it'd be too much, and that would be 25% less than it is now. So those kind of things bother me. It's like they're really, really milking it at that point. Milking it. No pun intended there. Let's see what else. I wrote some things down so I wouldn't forget. I wish there were more interactive elements, because right now there's the Millennium Falcon ride, which is super fun. I'll get into that. But there's some shops, and you can go build a droid or go build a lightsaber, but all those things cost money. Like if you want to build a lightsaber, it's like $200+ to build a lightsaber. It's crazy. Not everybody has money to just blast on a little toy, And then same thing with the droid. It's like over $100, $150. I don't remember, to build a droid in the droid room. And at least you can go in the droid room and look around. The lightsaber room, you can't even go in there unless you buy a lightsaber, or unless you're with somebody who's buying one. So I didn't even get to see that, because I'm like, I don't want a lightsaber toy. I don't feel like dealing with that. And then outside of that, there's not a lot of like things that you can do that are, you can look around, you can see the cantina, but again, it's like you're kind of in an environment where they're trying to sell you stuff. And in that regard, I wish there were just more kind of like activities, maybe I don't know, even more photo ops that are like a little more interactive or something. There are some, so don't get me wrong there, but there are a couple. But it just felt like you go there and you hang out in the area and you can ride the Falcon, Cantina, you can look around, but you can't do hands-on stuff. I wish there were a couple more things. They are opening another ride in August, which I think is going to help a lot to make the area feel a little more viable. Because right now, you go in there, the Falcon. I could go stand in that area for like a whole day and just look around because it's really incredible visually. Like if there was no ride, I would still be happy to hang out there. So let me see. What else did I write down here? There's a couple little like goofy things that they've done that are a little Disney-esque that kind of took me out of the moment. The one that really sticks in my head is there's a droid, 8D8, which is in Return of the Jedi, and he's like working a spick with some kind of animal on it that's cooking under a pod racer engine. The whole display is amazing. It looks really, really great. And they have this voice coming out of this creepy droid that in Return of the Jedi you see it and it's like torturing a gonk droid. That's the one that I'm talking about. It's like white droid, really skinny face, and it's the one that's burning the gonk droid's feet in Return of the Jedi. And they have it talking. They have like some audio recorded with it, and it's so bad. It's just, I just wish they would just leave it silent. Just leave it silent, turn off the audio, and just let that thing sit there and be creepy. That's what it's there for. Don't give it some goofy, like, I don't know, like prequels era battle droid sounding goofy voice. It's just not necessary, and it's not fitting. It kind of like detracts from what that robot's mood is. Anyway, there's a couple little things like that here and there that were, I was like, they didn't have to do that, you know, like sound effects and things in places. But outside of that, man, I really, really, really love the actual park, the aesthetics, and the architecture. All that stuff is really, really well done. I mean, it is Star Wars. It is Star Wars, and it kind of brings me to this thing that I've seen online where these people, you know, these naysayers, I find like 4 tweets that these people, by the way, like we're talking about people making YouTube videos that have never been to the park and are finding like the handful of tweets that are like, oh, there's not even anything Star Wars. They don't have Han Solo or Luke Skywalker or Princess Leia. None of that stuff. And I'm like, once you go there and you see it and you understand kind of why the park is the way it is, it makes way more sense. You don't need those characters to be Star Wars. Those characters are not the only thing in Star Wars. I feel like the people who wrote those tweets are not thinking about anything else. They either like don't really know Star Wars well, and all they know is like Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, R2-D2, C-3PO, and Darth Vader, maybe Yoda, and that's kind of it. It's outside of that, they can't see anything as Star Wars. They just have to see those characters, and that's it. And honestly, like the way the park is set up, it feels like you're on a Star Wars set. It feels 100% right. And it was designed by the same people that design all the sets for all the Star Wars movies, all the way back to the prequels. And I was fortunate enough last month to actually spend a day with Doug Chang, and I got to talk to him quite a bit about the parks and get some understanding about like their design aspects and so forth, which, you know, they are designed like they're designing sets for the movies. So the aesthetic is completely Star Wars. If you took out the Millennium Falcon that's parked in the middle of the park, and you took out Kylo Ren's ship, everything else, if it was just the buildings, it feels like Star Wars. It totally feels like Star Wars. It's Star Wars. You feel like you're in a Star Wars universe. You're in a Star Wars town. Everything visually is correct. You don't need any of those characters. You don't need any of even the recognizable ships. You take them all out, still feels like Star Wars. And that is amazing. And that is kind of why I hear people also complain like, oh, we would like to see, I don't know, Aunt Bru's hut and Yoda's little house and whatever like things you recognize from the movies. Now, I think those things are kind of neat on their own, but when you're in a land where it feels like its own place, but it's very, very clearly Star Wars, adding those kind of things is almost distracting from the overall feel, because like you're in this place that feels like an immersive Star Wars environment. And if you had like Aunt Rue's house and then Kashyyyk over here and Chewbacca hanging out and all these little different places, it would totally distract from the realness of the area and actually making it feel like Star Wars. And another really good thing about it for Disney, whatever your opinions are on the Disney stuff, is that because this area, Batuu or whatever it's called, is relatively neutral in the scheme of Star Wars, means that you can bring in whatever stuff from whatever movies they're working on currently, can make appearances in this park and not feel out of place too much, unless like it's like an underwater creature or something. Clearly that's not going to work. But like you bring in First Order troopers, they're visiting Batuu. Like, it doesn't feel like you're on the First Order base and then you're bringing in some other stuff. You're in this neutral area. So whatever characters you want to bring, Mandalorian characters, bring them in. Like old school characters, they can visit too. It can all happen in this area. And I feel like as far as a park design goes, that's a very, very smart thing to do. That's incredibly smart. Again, whether you like Disney, Star Wars or not, I have very, very mixed feelings, and my friends know I've complained about some of the movies, and some of the movies I like. That's for another video, but it doesn't affect the park itself. And when these people are like, "There's no Star Wars in Star Wars Land," I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Are you crazy? I feel like, again, back to the thing where the people just know the main characters and that is it. It is oozing with Star Wars stuff. There's so much call out to old school Star Wars all over the park. Unless you don't really know the movies. If you don't know the movies, you're not going to spot it. But if you know the movies, you're going to see stuff everywhere, from all the way to the old school stuff to the prequels and all the new films. There's little tidbits and Easter eggs and stuff everywhere that you will see all over the damn park. So anybody's like, "There's no Star Wars there," your IQ's got to be like under 70 or something. It's ridiculous. Do you even know what you're talking about? If you're not a fan enough to like notice all the Star Wars stuff everywhere, then why are you writing on Twitter that there's no Star Wars stuff in Star Wars Land? You look like a moron. And then the YouTubers that want to repeat that back, like, "Oh, I saw this thing on Twitter and now I'm an authority and there's no Star Wars in Star Wars Land." You're an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I don't like to get into this mood. This isn't my typical type of thing I do on these videos, but man, it's really irksome. And it's not to defend Disney, it's just that it's just not the way it is there. So, I'm like sweating, man. That's like bothers me that much because it's loaded with stuff. If you go there, it's like Easter egg heaven. It's awesome. And just overall, get back to the thing, is that the aesthetic is so good. It is so good. Like every inch of that park has some artist's hand touched it to make it not distracting. So you feel like in your Star Wars Land and there's not distracting stuff around. You just take it in. People walk right past things because the environment is so inclusive as far as like you don't realize that it's all there in a way that there's no distracting little things sticking out that you're going to catch your attention in a negative way. It's like like the equivalent of like someone having their cell phone in a movie theater. Like you'll spot stuff that stands out, but because everything feels unified, you don't notice it. But I notice it because I make stuff all the time. So I'm walking around this park just like, "Oh my God, look at this. There's like blast marks on the wall, and then the stone's chipped away, and there's rock behind it, and the rock has texture." We went to eat in that Docking Bay 7, and they sat down at this table. They had these cool little utensils, and the panel on the wall next to us is all like rusty and crazy. And I was like, "Man, this is awesome." And I look over it, and I'm thinking like, that panel, that's just paint. Somebody painted this. Some artist came in here and painted this one little panel in the restaurant next to my table to look like it's got rusted corners, all old and weathered. And the whole park is like that. It's goddamn amazing. I could spend days in there just looking at the park and never go on a ride, never buy anything, never go into a shop, just walk around and look at everything because it's that good. And I'm very excited to go back. I'm hoping I get to go back sometime relatively soon and just really take it in for a second time. Now that I've kind of like know where things are and I'm not rushing around to try to get it all in, I can like just chill out and just observe all the stuff and look for more Easter eggs. But in the future, if I can get back there soon, I will do a video on all of the Easter egg stuff that I can find. I'm sure people have done a dozen of them already, but it's pretty damn amazing. So anyway, my thoughts on Galaxy's Edge. Overall, I love it. Can't wait till they open a new ride. Wish they had a few more interactive things. And I wish some of the prices weren't so insane. But the park's beautiful. The Millennium Falcon ride's really fun. I didn't get into that. That was a fantastic time. Full of Easter eggs in the Falcon all over the place. The ride's fun. People are like, oh, it's so cheesy and Disney. And it's not nearly as Disneyfied as Star Tours, which everybody loved in the past. They have some really amazing animatronics and some interactive elements to that. Whew. God, I'm just going on. It's so crazy. But anyway, those are my initial thoughts. It's really, really great. So when you hear people naysaying it, question whether they know anything or, if they're actually fans of the film and they go there, if they just barely know it and they're not going to get much out of it. But I think if you're a real fan, you will see tons of stuff there that you will appreciate. So that's just my thoughts, my 2 cents as a real Star Wars fan, which I am. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. It's like 1 in the morning right now. So thanks for stopping by, and I will see you kids soon. Good night!